Hi everybody, Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me. This is what I'm making today. I do realise that by the time this posts, Father's Day will have been and gone. So this is a project that's not really so much for Father's Day, it's more for kind of any day. So the project today is making this neat little carrier bag. Now, it's a bit of a story behind it because I originally was going to get my husband something for his Father's Day gift that I ordered off the internet, and I ordered it from overseas and it hasn't come. So I had to do a quick rethink and get a different present, and then I had to very quickly make the wrapping for it. So this is what I made. Stay with me, I'll show you what I did. This is the gift that I want to package up for my fur baby to give to my husband on Father's Day, which by the time you see this will have been and gone, of course. So I have a pair of dance socks for him. I've got a pair for myself as well, and in case you're interested, we like to ballroom dance, and we were working for our medals, and then COVID-19 hit, so our dance studio had to close. But our dance teacher is carrying on giving dance lessons over Zoom, which means that we have our dance lesson in our living room, which is carpeted, and it's not very easy to do ballroom dancing in proper ballroom dancing shoes on a carpeted surface. It doesn't really work somehow. So these you can put on over your ordinary shoes. It says sneakers, which in British is trainers. And you can carry on dancing on carpeted floors. So I'm looking forward to getting some practicing for that. I got myself a pair as well, mine are blue. And I put them away, and I haven't even measured them. Silly me, so busy giving you an advert for dance shoes. So I'm going to say that that's 4 inches. So it's a front and a back. So I'm going to put 4 inches and 4 inches. And I also need to measure the depth. And I'm going to say that that is about an inch. Just check that again. Yeah, that's an inch near enough. Okay, so if I make my my container exactly that size, it's going to be too snug a fit for my little gift to go in. So I'm going to add a ½ an inch to each of these dimensions. So that becomes 4.5 by 4.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5. And if I add those together, 4.5 and 4.5 is 9, 1.5 and 1.5 is 3, 9 and 3 is 12. So I'm going to need a piece of paper that's 12 inches, and I'm also going to need an extra piece that is going to allow me to glue the whole thing together, because I can't make a fold over flap because my paper is 12 inches wide and no wider. So that's how wide I want to cut my paper. So how deep do I want to cut it? So again, we fold over the top and let me measure, and again I'm going to call that about 4 inches, and I'm going to add on ½ an inch for ease, and I'm going to want a flap at the bottom, that's a further inch, because I'm going to overlap them. Even though the width is 1.5 inches, I can get away with it being an inch, and I'm going to add another inch at the top for tucking in purposes. You'll see when it all comes together. So that's 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. Okay, so that is how big I need to cut my paper. I'm going to score on my scoreboard. Could use my trimmer, but I generally prefer to use my scoreboard. So I'm going to score it at 4 1/2 of an inch, and then at 6 inches, and then at 10.5 inches, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm using the broader end of my scoring blade, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch and at 5.5 inches, and I'm just going to gently crease these just for a second, because I'm going to score halfway between this score line and this score line, so that is going to be at 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to score part way down, and the same thing and this one. I'm going to score, I'm going to start there, and I'm going to go 1 to 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to score part of the way down. So next thing, I'm going to burnish the main folds. And now with my snips, I'm going to just slip up. Let me finish that fold a bit more so I can see where I'm going. I'm just going to cut a very skinny little wedge out of these pieces here. On the end, I'm just reducing the bulk of what's going to be the bottom of the bag, just very slightly. Oops, missed that one. I'm folding it so I can see a little bit better where the fold is, because I don't want to cut beyond that. And same thing. I now need to join the front and the back of the bag together, and to do that I'm going to use a little construction strip. So I'll just cut a little scrap piece of Whisper White to 4.5 inches long by 1 inch, and I have scored down the middle at 1/2 inch and folded it thusly, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a burnish. And now I'm going to apply my tape along the top here, and along here, get the backing off. Quite a bit of peace and quiet to do this while my husband is having a nap, because he had his treatment today and he's a little bit tired after it. So I'm going to place this kind of level with that bottom corner there, reasonably carefully, trying to tuck it just inside where that paper is. Now, I'm not worried about this bit at the top because I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to tuck that in, so that doesn't really need to do anything terribly exciting with it. And I can now bring this around and pop those two bits together, and that's my bag. Now, those folds that I made midway between these folds, I can now squish them in, and that will help form the bag. Alright, So this bit at the top is going to tuck in like that. Now I could put a bit of tape if I wanted to, but I don't think I'm going to worry too much about that because it'll kind of hold itself into place quite nicely, and that is kind of optional, but I do like the sort of finish it gives to the edge. So now I need to put some more tape, and it doesn't really matter which is my back, which is my front. I'm going to call this my front. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape along the bottom here. Now the dance socks are pretty light. If I was going to put anything heavy in here, I think I would probably reinforce the base. I'd certainly be using a liquid adhesive, and I would tuck a little bit of card into the base of the bag. And I could have made this flap a full 1.5 inches, but I decided not to because I didn't need to. I want to create some handles for my bag. I've already gone ahead and put one in place, so I need to make the second one to match it. I've taken a piece of real red card, which is about 7 inches. It's not exactly, and I'm going to mark it at 1 inch, and again at 1 inch from the other end, and then I'm going to score 1/2 inch, so it's 7 inches ish by 1 inch. Get rid of the scoreboard here, and I'm going to put sticky tape all down along the edge there. You know, I don't know what we did for crafting before they invented double-sided tape. Stood around and held things and hoped that they dried quickly, I think. Okay, so bone folder, and I'm just going to tip those so that I can see them, and I'm going to curve use the edge of my ruler, and I'm just going to help that curve. Okay, and one more thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fold along the edge. So I'm going to go like that. So all I'm doing is I'm placing that edge along the other edge. You see that? So I'm making it like a right angle turn, and then I'm opening it up again, and that's just to help my handle curve a little bit. Let me bring in my bag, and I'm definitely going to use liquid adhesive for this, and you could even put a little bit of tape on as well if you wanted to, and on those little 1 inch sections at the end, that's where I'm putting my liquid adhesive. And let me get a couple of paper clips because I want this to hold in place while it sets. So I'm lining up that fold with the top of the bag and that edge with where that inner fold comes to. Can you see that? And I'm going to take a paper clip, and maybe even two, but we'll start with one, and I'm going to use that to hold that into place. And then I'm going to bring the handle around and do the same thing on the opposite side. And I'm going to be quite firm with it. You know, if it wants to be stubborn, see that little fold there will help you so much. And now the paper clips are just going to go along there and just hold everything in place until that adhesive dries. Alright, and I've got a couple of nice sturdy little bag handles. I'll put this on one side, let the adhesive dry while I think about how I'm going to decorate it. Well, it's not a proper Keren project if it doesn't involve some die cutting at least. So I've got this set, which is one of the new ones, and it is called Tasteful Labels. And I've cut that shape out of a piece of real red. I'm going to put that on one side. I've taken this set, which is called Well Said. This is a two-part set, so it's one of our, our more expensive ones, but it's worth every penny. And here is the sentiment says Father's Day. I have stamped that in Versamark on basic black ink, and I've put some white heat embossing powder on it and heat embossed it. And I've also got this die, which says Happy, which is from the Well Written die set. And I've got this die again from the Tasteful Labels, and I'm going to cut those out. So I'm going to hop over to my die cutting machine, which in my case is a Big Shot, and I will be right back. And I am back, and while I was there I also cut this shape out of this piece of paper, which is on the back of the paper with the little kitty cats, just to give a little bit of extra something. And I'm going to stick this down. Oh, hello, my cat's come out to play. She's sitting beside me having a jolly good scratch. Don't do that, miss. You're going to come up and see everybody? I don't think she is today. I think she's just going to sit down there. She has been scratching her ears to pieces. So it's going to be a trip to the VET for her. Okay, so let's put that word Happy right along the top there. And since I've still got glue on the back of my hand. Now, there are differing opinions on the wisdom of putting adhesive on the back of your hand. I've done it for quite some time now with no ill effect that I can document, but then again, my skin is on the rhinoceros hide side, so if you are a little bit nervous about doing that, if you've got sensitive skin, then by all means don't do it. But you could put a glove on, a rubber glove, something like that, or you could just put a little bit of plastic down and just put your adhesive on there. I know of people who use a sponge and sponge onto the back of delicate die cuts, but I don't have any luck with that. Whenever I do that, I not only get it on the back, I get it on the front, which I think says more about me than about the method, but there you are. So there is my label, which, can you see the light is dreadful today. It's too bright. Let me see if I turn off some of these lights. Is that any better? Not much, but it does say Happy Father's Day. Okay, so I wanted to put a cute ribbon to tie this on with, but unfortunately they're in the other room, and that is where my husband is sleeping. So I'm not going to disturb him because I want to get this job finished. So I've got a hole punch. I think it's a 1/8 of an inch punch, and I'm just going to just punch out in the middle of the letter P there. So I've got my twine, which I think is baker's twine, and I brought my tweezers out because I knew I was going to need them, and I was right. So I can loop that through there, obviously, and I'll write a message on the back. So, with love from Misty. And yeah, I know it's daft, but he's a very good cat daddy. He is. And tie a knot in that there, and then I hope I've made that loop big enough. Ooh, it's going to be tight squeeze. Let's poke that through there. Oh, just about, ladies and gentlemen. I need to be careful of that H and happy. So maybe if you're going to do that, maybe make the loop a wee bit bigger. Yes. And let's snip away this extra twine. And there you go. And I've just realised I put it on the wrong side. Oops. That's all right. There is the finished Father's Day gift marked 2. Now, as I said at the beginning, this doesn't necessarily have to be for Father's Day. You could put any small gift in a bag like this. A bottle of perfume, something like that would fit in nicely. And inside I've put my gift. The dance socks have gone in there, and I've also put the card that I made. It was a gift card holder originally, but I altered it, and on the inside I've got the words "Best Cat Dad," and let's put a message in there: Love, Misty, because that's my cat's name. It's actually Mystique, but she's Misty for short. And I cut these out with the alphabet dies that we've got, so you'll be seeing more of them in future, no doubt. But anyway, that is it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and do come back and see me again sometime soon, won't you? But for now, bye bye.